Affirmations are positive statements that help us to challenge and overcome when you're not feeling good and have negative thoughts. So repeat after me. Come on, everyone. There is no one better to be than myself.
There is no one better to be than myself.
Today is gonna be an amazing day.
Today is gonna be an amazing day.
My feelings matter.
My feelings matter.
I get better every single day.
I get better every single day.
I choose to feel happy.
I choose to feel happy.
My family loves me so much.
My family loves me so much.
I care about others.
I care about others.
I learn from my mistakes.
I learn from my mistakes.
Affirmations are fun and cool. They help us heal and they help us grow. If you love to learn and want to keep feeling good, let's say some more. Follow me, let's go. I am responsible.
I am responsible.
I get better every single day.
I get better every single day.
I'm surrounded by love.
I'm surrounded by love.
Every problem has an answer.
Every problem has an answer.
I deserve to feel good.
I deserve to feel good.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
I believe in myself.
I believe in myself.
I control my own happiness.
I control my own happiness.
Now we know some new affirmations that we can choose and learn to say. So next time you need a little inspiration to help you have more of a positive day. Affirmations. Affirmations.
Good morning, Sonder family. Yes, that is called the Affirmation Song, and it's Snoop Dogg and Doggyland. And I lost my mind when I heard it for the first time. And I think we should always start our day with some affirmations from Snoop Dogg. So I hope that that was a happy moment for you. Yes, I know. We'll just have our Snoop Dogg going. Um, Good morning. I'm Jennifer Ogilvy. I'm coming to you from the Dallas, Texas area in a community called Garland. And I'm glad to welcome our Monday bunch. It's so good to see you. And we have in the house the fabulous Malika is joining me as my co-facilitator. And it's early. She has she's risen and she's shining with the Monday morning setup crew this morning because it's she's on California time, so it's pretty early there. But anyhow, so glad to see you guys. So Malika will be hanging out in that chat. If you have any questions this morning, along the way, we'll point you in the right direction there. And I'll be here. I'm on camera and mic, so you can you can, make it small so you don't have to look at me. Mute my voice, mute the music if you don't want, but your cameras are off, your mics are off, and it's all about setting up for a brand new week. We are going to rise and we are going to thrive. So it's just, I love starting my week and my Monday mornings with you guys. Just a quick shout out. You're going to see some sticker usage on some of the examples I'm sharing this morning. Silk and Sonder now has its own stickers, and you can get the monthly sticker subscription, which will match the colors of your journal. And then we kind of have this booklet that is an evergreen sticker booklet. So it kind of just has lots of different colors so that you can use them. So you'll be seeing some of these show up in our slides this morning. Now, I always say I am a pen and paper kind of gal. So, but I have the stickers and I'm kind of liking them. So, give that a try. Maybe that could be a treat yourself sort of thing, but just a shout out to that. When we are together, is there anybody here for the very first time? Drop a me in the chat so we can give you a Big Silk and Sonder, good morning. Okay, Linda just said that she's here for the first time and Sydney's here for the first time. And Linda, this is a reminder for you and everybody else who's here. Make sure that your chat is set to everyone. If you see to host and panelists, Malika and I will see it, but not everybody else will. And we do a lot of sharing. Oh, Jan is here for the first time. So yay, we've got some first time socialers. We really love the accountability that comes in play when we gather together. This is like those walking buddies waiting for you at the front door. You make an appointment with yourself, and this is the way that we stay consistent with our journal. And I've got a great little slide to show you about consistency and habits. So, and then we just have each other, and it's nice to be part of a community. It's good for our souls. When we are gathered together, whether we're in our app or we're gathered here, we do want to remind you of our community guidelines. These are here to remind folks that we do create very safe spaces for one another. We uphold one another. And, this is just that reminder for you. Now, our theme, oh, Nicole, thank you. I'm glad y'all are all here. Some of you are like, I took a break, and I know we have some educators joining us now because it's summertime, so you can take advantage of a Monday morning setup. But always remember when we work on some prompts, if anything is ever uncomfortable, just sit with it. You take what you need when you're gathered here. If you are here for the first time, well, also a reminder for all of us, if you see something you love, grab a screenshot of it, right? Or sit with your phone and grab a quick little screenshot so you can go back, because you may see something like, I really liked the way this person used their menu meal plan section, but I think I might want to put that in my shopping list. You can get all these ideas, sit with post-it notes. When I first started using my journal, I would just make little post-it notes and stick it in different areas until I figured out how to make the journal work just for me. So just that reminder. And we have a very, very fun theme this month. So, I think it's not as heavy, not as deep. Last month, trust. Oh, Lordy B, what a theme. That was so heavy. And so I'm loving that we came out of that heaviness and that good work we did on our souls. And now we're looking at how we thrive. So it was such a good segue, right? I don't know if y'all felt the same way, but trust was so deep. And now we have this, how do I thrive? And it just sparks energy and growth and joy and blossoming and all those fun words. So, our time together, we are going to work on our Thrive Mind Map, and that is your bonus prompt for just showing up to a weekly setup. It's a deeper dive that we do every week at the weekly setups around that theme, and we will have prompts that will help us do a deep dig into whatever the theme of the month is. Every week is a different lens. And so it's just another way of really looking at how the themes fit into our lives. So that's our mind map. And I'll explain a little bit more in just a sec. Then we always like to take a moment to reflect on the previous week. What do we want to bring forward with us? What do we just want to put on paper and say goodbye to and no thank you, I'm done with you. And that's that rosebud thorn reflection. So we'll do that together, and then we will do our weekly setup pages. So let's dig into our Thrive Mind Map. Now, this can be done in a number of spaces in your journal. And I actually have taken a hint from our co-facilitator, Bailey, who says, I always go to the last notes page because it makes it easy to find. But I also know some folks like to use their weekly scratch pad, and each week they do their prompt in that scratch pad. Some people like to do that in their the quotes page or maybe the definition page. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. Some of you may have extra journals for the prompts because we have these notes pages that are they run out, right? When we do all the work. And so perhaps you put it in that extra journal. So you put it where you want to put it. And we are doing a deep dig into that theme of thrive. And you might want to look at your life overall, but you could also really hone in one area of your life if you wanted to. So you could do like your family and how you thrive there. Or maybe you look at thriving through that lens of the career, and you're going to do all 4 weeks worth of mind maps around your career. So I'm inviting you to kind of just take what you need. So last week, if you were not here, week one was well-being. What does that look like? Through the lens, what does thriving look like through the lens of well-being? How do you take care of your physical needs, your emotional needs? What does your nutrition look like? Do you get enough rest? And so we answered the prompt based on well-being and how our well-being, feeds into thriving. And today is all about growth. So week one was well-being. If you weren't here, you can kind of make note of that. And I'll come back and forth between these slides so you can grab that information. But this week is growth, and it's really focusing in on continued learning and development. We are looking at how do we acquire new skills? How do we continuously challenge ourselves and expand our knowledge? Maybe this is your hobbies. Maybe you equip yourself with courses that you take. What do you do? Maybe, like in your career, you do this continuing education and you're passionate about it rather than being, "Oh, I gotta take continuing education." I'm a retired educator, and I loved going to continuing ed, and probably here I did it for a long time, hearing the same thing over and over again, but it would give me that spark, right? That enthusiasm to, keep leaning into thriving into my job. Maybe it's about just stepping outside of your comfort zone. So I have some quotes to think about. Now, I mentioned I'm retired, so I have lots of time to pursue some other avenues of learning. I'm very fortunate. We're going to talk a little bit about that, but some great quotes. Henry Ford says, "Anyone who stops learning is old, whether at 20 or 80. Anyone who keeps learning stays young. The greatest thing in life is to keep your mind young, and there is so much science about trying those new things and keeping that brain flexible. One day you will wake up and there won't be any more time to do the things you've always wanted. Do it now. It's never too late to be what you might have been. Don't stop until you're proud, and the things we tend to thrive. So here's some things to think about. Now, there is my response for the week, and I wanted to share with you in my monthly intention, since I am retired, my professional goals on that monthly intention page, I changed to learning goals every month, and it just says learning goals, learning intentions. And I do this. I do a monthly nonfiction book, a documentary. I try to attend some kind of a live lecture and then take an online little course or a talk, like a TED talk, or just to always make sure I'm being very, intentional with those learning goals. I like to quilt, so I'm going to choose a difficult, hard quilt that I've got to stick with. I like to go fast, so I do really easy stuff. So I'm going to choose that, kind of, get that elasticity in my brain moving. I've been debating taking a pottery class. I think I'm really going to dive into that. And then there are some things that I can do to audit maybe an online college course and kind of, make my brain work. Now, I want you, while you're looking at this prompt this week for growth, is keep in mind the ages and stages of life. I could not have done this when I had 2 young children at home and I was working full time and had all those other commitments. So I have to kind of think about how can I be sneaky with that growth? And maybe one of the things I could have done was have an audiobook going like when I get ready in the morning or when I took a shower and just work on a nonfiction book that I could listen to so that I could multitask. So you might have to be a little creative with this. Maybe you are a young professional and you travel all the time. So online learning is going to be your friend because it would be hard to take. An in person, in real life class. But I've also made a list of a lot of things, resources that you might wanna consider. Your libraries. I have a local library, little city library that offers lots of different programming. I'm actually gonna take a, 3D printing class in a week and a half, and they've got a 3D printer there, and they teach you how to use it. So I don't know that I'll ever need to, but I'm excited about that. Don't forget about, like, Instagram Reels, TikTok, YouTube. Maybe you find new recipes that way. And you incorporate that into your life. TED Talks, documentaries. I mentioned I do a documentary every single month. Um, Look at county or city sponsored events. Maybe your city can come up, might have a little day of planting, something you could do with your kids. The Coursera or other online platforms. Those are free. Coursera offers free courses that you can attend. Nonfiction books. Go check Eventbrite and look locally for maybe ways to go and kind of take that step out of a comfort zone. Um, Lots of faith communities will offer their facilities to private groups and offer things. Clubs, I said in real life or virtual. Our community is a space of learning, right? So you're already committing to that. And maybe you don't have something, maybe you become a founding member. Maybe you start a book club for your block or your street and you lean into those nonfiction books. Perhaps you pull out that instrument from high school or you learn to play an instrument, crafting, gardening, tending to plants, and maybe think of it through the lens of your family. So I'm doing a lot of talking. I'm going to go back and forth between these slides while you think about ways that you can grow. Keep that neuroplasticity always forefront. That's so good. Think about how you're protecting your old person brain by what you're doing now and be, how you're thriving. Let me put on some music, share in the chat what is coming to mind for you. Be back to check in with you in just a few moments. Oh my goodness, the chat is popping with such fabulous ideas. I love that Shelby shared that she last month really leaned into trusting her community and is seeking opportunities within the community, and that was from her work with trust, and now it is coming to fruition through this idea of a thriving. Malika just mentioned she made a 30 things she wants to do before she turns 30. That's a great way to kind of hold yourself accountable. So think about how some of these ideas that you've shared, how are you going to put these in your journal? Are you going to schedule time? Are you going to make a bingo? Are you going to maybe tackle one new thing every month? Or, again, I changed that intention space up just for that accountability piece for myself so that I don't forget to embrace learning. Being a lifelong learner is so, so good for us. And sitting on this side of 60 now, it truly is important. My inbox is always full of stuff about keeping that brain healthy. And so I think it's so important that this was a way that we looked at thriving this week. So as you keep working on this, maybe things will pop in your head. Make a note, write it down so you don't forget. And then really be intentional about scheduling this stuff in. And again, it's going to look different for all of us. Remember, we all need different things to thrive, right? And it's going to depend on where we are in our ages and our stages of life. And so we want to keep that in mind too as we're making those choices. So let's turn to page 36 in your journal. For those of you, who are brand new, we do this every single week. We do the rosebud thorn reflection. I love this look back over the week, and it really allows us that permission to leave the things behind that didn't serve us if we're able to, but also to find gratitude for what the week brought us, and then also gives us that excitement of looking ahead. So we have the thorns of life, those things that are tricky, that are difficult, that maybe cause us some grief. Sometimes they're temporary. Sometimes they are permanent. There may be health issues that just don't go away, but we want to claim those. We want to write those down and, kind of embrace that life is filled with roses and thorns. And so for me, last week, our air conditioner compressor died, which is never good in Texas, and they're never cheap. And that was a thorn. It's just not fun to spend money on that kind of stuff. I know y'all feel me. I'd much rather take a vacation, but I also want cool air. The buds are just those emerging opportunities or some things that you might be looking forward to. They can be as simple as it's a new week. And so, new week, new me, right? My bud is I am involved in a group called Philanthropic Educational Organization, and we have a small college that we support for women, and I am involved in the planning of a little Christmas in July fundraiser. And that, when our chapter raises funds, we get to pay that forward to young women for scholarships. So I'm just excited about that. We're going to kind of do a little garage sale where we're cleaning out our closets and buying each other's stuff that we don't want, but maybe somebody else within the chapter will, and calling it our little Christmas in July gifts to ourselves. And then my biggest rose, my daughter's getting married in November, and y'all, I found my mother of the bride dress and I ordered it and it came in and it mostly fits. And I'm just so happy to have that big check off. That was just, I mean, I laid in bed at night talking about it with my husband. I'm so excited. So let's work on this for just a few moments. Please drop in the chat what your roses you want to see it in Sonder Club. Taylor, I will definitely do that. I'm going to wait till November. So it's all, the hair's done and all that. But I'm so excited because I've been looking and all the dresses I tried on made me look like a sparkly pickle. So it's the dress. Oh, I'm so excited. Anyway, y'all work on your roses and buds and your thorns and share those in the chat so we can celebrate your roses and buds. And we can also hold space with you for those hard times that might be your thorns this week. And I'll be back to check in with you in just a few moments. Okay, you guys are so awesome for sharing your hearts with everyone in the chat. It was moving pretty quickly. I wasn't able to comment on everybody, but there are some tough thorns. I saw some health issues going on, and then just some things. Heidi shared too much screen time. And so maybe if there are some thorns in your life that you do have control over, kind of keep those bouncing around in your head right now. And then when we get to our activity section for the week, perhaps that can be something that you dive into in your habits and activities to maybe make that thorn kind of turn around and perhaps become a rose or a bud for the upcoming week. I do celebrate those wonderful things that you shared. So glad that you were able to find some roses. I stage managed, I think yesterday, and I was, co-pilot for I don't Bailey, and somebody said, "I don't think I have a rose this week." And I was like, "Well, I have a rose because you're here. So maybe it's just you're here." And that's amazing. I do want to remind you that we're going to be turning to that currently page. It's kind of that mid-month time in our journal every month. And I want to encourage you to maybe at the end of the week, we're sort of hitting the 14th, 15th, 16th. Maybe be sure to schedule time in to go take a look at that currently page and check in with yourself. Use this as an opportunity to go look at your intentions that you set for the month. Do they need to be adjusted? It is okay to look at an intention and say, oh, this is not happening. I need to adjust mid-month, and give yourself permission to do that. And look at your monthly habit tracker. There have been times when I've put a habit down on that tracker. And when I really take a moment to look at it around the 15th of the month and it's not happening, I need to rework that habit, because obviously I'm not ready. I'm not in the space for it, or I need to do a little bit of adjusting so that I can be successful and set myself up. So as we progress to the end of the week, take a look at that currently page and go take a look and check in with yourself. How is the month going so far, so that you can finish June strongly? We are going to now look at our weekly setup, which will be on pages 40 and 41 this week. And here are some fun things that are happening this week. So you might want to look at this alliteration day to set up maybe one or two of these spaces in your journal. You can see a couple of examples that you guys have shared at the bottom there. It looks like they've used their mind, body, soul to do like an alliteration thing, the Motivation Monday or Movement Monday. I love the idea of Sassy Saturday. So that's just a fun way to kind of frame out your days, as well as the National Days Up. Sometimes it's fun to pop those things into your journal. So if something like this speaks to you, grab a screenshot and maybe you'll choose something fun for every one of your days this week. Malika and I were talking, today is egg roll day, and she said, her last name is Agrawal, sorry, Malika. And she said that she and her sister, our founder, Meha, would call each other egg roll because it kind of reminded them of their last name. And I was like, oh, you've got to celebrate egg roll day with your sister today. So perhaps you'll do that. On 6/12, I'll point out that it is Loving Day. That is the day that we got some laws in place about interracial marriage, that people could marry without regard to race. I think that's so wonderful. And there's a great movie called Loving about the history of that law, if you'd like to watch that. But on the 12th, I'm going to shout it out. It's Malika's birthday. So y'all wish her happy birthday in the chat. And then there's our other fun days for the week. First, let's start with, how do you want to feel this week? So kind of look ahead at what you got going on, and let's hone in on a feeling or a mantra or a quote that speaks to us. It's going to guide our week. Maybe you've got several words that are coming into your head. Maybe you do a word every single day of the week. Please drop that in the chat. And I love, oh, Alexandria has already popped in there. This week, she wants to feel more and less. So she wants to feel more alert and less groggy. That's always a great way to frame out your feelings of the week, that you want more of something and less of something. So drop in the chat, how do you want to feel this week? And it doesn't have to be a brand new word. If last week's word was the guiding word that really helped you and you need to bring that forward, just bring it forward. You don't have to change this up every week. Oh, Jill's going to be summer minded, that new kind of vibe. Focused. I love that. Follow on course until successful. Love that, Kai. Oh goodness, strong and powerful. Yeah, summer minded's kind of fun. Rejuvenated. I love that. That's such a thrive kind of word. More hopeful and less hopeless. Taylor says, I want to feel close to God this week. Oh, yes, progress over perfection with it in a sticker. Yes, Gabby, stickers are the wonderful way to frame this out. Bloom and positive. Gloria, you have been leaning into blooming and thriving this month. I love it. Oh, Shelby gets to go on vacation next week, so she wants to feel renewed. All right, great words, you guys. So, as you're thinking about that feeling for the week, now let's jump into our goals and our to dos for the week. And y'all, I saw this on Oh my gosh, the speed, it cracked me up. Well, as if it isn't me writing all the things from last week's to-do list on this week's to-do list. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna be doing that a lot this week. I didn't get as much done last week as I wanted to do. So just that permission, be filled with grace for yourself. We always like to start with those major 3 goals. It can be 1 goal, it can be 5 goals, but we usually settle in on 3. We always say, go check that intentions page. I'm going to send you back there. Is that something that can drive these goals or really use that lens of thrive? Or maybe even this week's um, weekly setup prompt with that mind map, learning and growth. Maybe your goals will be around that. Do you have anything outstanding that can be brought forward? But you could also reuse a space and look at what someone did. Celebrate my birthday. That is their one main goal for the week. They've just gone right into the celebration mindset. You can do quotes, you can do podcasts, movies you want to watch. If you're a Bridgerton fan, Thursday is our day. So maybe you put, that there. Songs of the week, maybe you want to explore some new topics that would feed right into how you want to grow through that lens of thrive. Maybe you'll create a new bingo board, a little bingo board here. Here are some examples of some repurpose. Someone is using it as their morning routine. There's a morning self-care checklist so that you're holding yourself accountable on the day to day. There's instead of 3 major goals, look at the one at the bottom middle. Weekly major 3 self-love reminders. Really honing in on how you're going to take care of yourself. And then there's a bingo over there on the right that is gonna support the goals and maybe support that feeling of being triumphant. Perhaps you do no goals, those things that you're going to take away. Like we were saying, the mindless scrolling, maybe that is a no goal for the week. And there's some examples, and don't worry, I'm gonna go back and forth between all of these. And then lots of folks will just do a personal single challenge or theme for the week. So you can see like there's healthful, and they're going to eat, hydrate, rest, and move. And so that's kind of all around the same idea. So there is a garden theme. They're going to harvest self love and confidence, weed out negative thoughts, and bloom in your own way. Isn't that beautiful for our theme this month? And then different categories. I know we love the categories. You just get a category and plug a goal in for each one of those. There's some great examples of that. And then you might take those goals and do your to-dos directly off of what those goals are, like some of these that you see here. And again, I'm going to put on music while you work on this so you'll be able to take some really close looks at this. But you can see how, let's look at this upper left one. The 3 goals, there's a self goal, a home goal, and a productivity goal. And then look over, they changed that to-do list to be the weekly intentions that match up with those goals. So that's a beautiful way to set these 2 sections up so that they are paired nicely. Maybe your to-do list is a need, want, hope to-do list. As you can see here, the Eisenhower matrix, we always promote this. We've even got a sticker for this in that evergreen sticker pack. But this is a great way to sort out your long to-dos and get them prioritized so that you're keeping the main thing the main thing. I mentioned letting go of things. Maybe it's a not to-do list, and so it could look something like that. Things, that you need to let go of that don't serve you, that you're going to focus on. And then this, love the idea of there's focus and organization on these 3 spaces with a little bingo board that directly hits those goals for the week. And then someone has taken that to-do list and they've made it into a quadrant with 4 different areas of their life so that their to-dos are kind of sorted out that way rather than the Eisenhower matrix. It's the different areas of their life. Finally, let's talk about that ta-da list, the things that you maybe do to celebrate. I always say I leave my to-do list blank because my to-do list is on every single day of the week. I have my Monday to do, Tuesday to do's, but my ta-da list, I go back and fill in with all those extras I did just so that I can have that satisfaction, that little dopamine hit that I did it and got some other things done. Maybe you make your to-do list the things that you do, and you just go make the list and mark it off because it gives you that nice dopamine hit. Perhaps we need to look at a to be list. How do you want to be this week? Or how do you want to feel and make a to feel list? It's always about taking what you need. I'm going to put on some music. I'll go back through all of these slides. Let us know how you set this up. Do you do three goals? Do you focus on, do you tie them in with your to dos? How do you make these two sections work for you? And I'll be back to check in with you in just a moment. right, now we're going to drop down to the next section on this page, our habits and activities, or as facilitator Maya says, the habities for the week. I love this section because it can be changed up to fit the kind of week you're having, and you can kind of take what you need. Now, in my weekly, I always have some directions for myself to point myself back to. I put, in my weekly habits and activities, go look at the monthly habit tracker and check that off. Do the gratitude jar, just as that reminder to go back and use those pages in my journal, not forget to turn to those. These might be guided by your intentions and those habits for the month. I love the graphic that is on the bottom left. It says, how far will you go? And you can see the little yellow bar says talent. The little green bar says enthusiasm, both of which are important, but most importantly, it's consistency. And so that's the beauty of this tool, is that it helps us stay consistent. And then I love this graphic about getting those happy chemicals. And maybe there's some things on here that you might choose to drop in your habit and activity section so that we're getting those dopamine hits, getting the flood of serotonins and those good endorphins and oxytocin to counter the cortisol that does us no good. So perhaps some of those will be incorporated here as we look at how we thrive. Here are some great examples of different ways to use this section in your journal. And look at the one there on the left in the middle. Someone is actually just not doing the habits and activities and use this more as a reflection space. Just kind of put some paper over it, and it's just a weekly reflection that's right there in that all important. These 2 pages kind of set us up for the week. You can circle days that you want things to happen. You can set a goal for the number of times, or you can ignore that goal space completely. Look at the one at the upper right. This person's only doing 3 things. Permission given to not fill in every line. Take what you need every single week. And then I have a whole bunch of inspiration for you if you're looking to maybe add some new things. Now, remember, habits take days and days and days and weeks to really get ingrained in your rhythms and routines. So you may have the very same things that you had last week. Let's take a few moments to work on this, and I'll be back to check in with you in just a few moments. as I shared, all the things in this space for me are the same things that were there last week. And I love that Alice affirmed that. She said, "Mine too, Jennifer. Why change what's working?" So I just need those habits to become ingrained. So I'm just moving them over and carrying on, moving forward. All right, so now we're going to go to that next page in our weekly setup. And I've got a list of repurpose ideas, things that we've seen shared throughout the years of setting this page up. So you might want to grab a screenshot of those ideas if you're looking for some different things. We're going to start by looking at that meal planner, and I've got 3 examples of how folks are using this in conjunction with their nutrition. And so you can see there's a meal plan divided out by times of the day: before noon, noon to 6, after 6. The one in the middle is just either the plan for the week, or perhaps it's a tracker of what actually was eaten. And then someone is actually embracing that idea of looking at their macros, really trying to focus in on proteins, carbs and fats, and getting that good ratio. I know, like, the older you get, the more protein you need as a female, and I've been doing an online tracker for just protein. I'm not really worrying about anything else, but I want to make sure I'm hitting those that protein goal. So that could be the way that you set this up. But there's also a lot of other ways. We love the spaces here. I always call these little boxes juicy because they're just big, and you can do so much with them. So here are some examples from our fellow Silk and Sonder community of how they use this. Love the idea of a meal plan for my soul with some questions for reflection. I'll go back and forth between all of these. I always like to call out those droplets. Figure out a way to use those if you're not tracking what you're drinking. Maybe you're using them to track when you fill your cup, when you feel calm. It can be another way of just a little moment of check in with yourself. Um, then we've got the mind body health plan. This space gets changed up a lot in my journal. This is the one that's always a little bit different. Right now, I am tracking the number of different fruits and vegetables I have every week, and I'm shooting for 12. And that's just, when I write it down. It helps keep it front and center. You can see someone has made a little self-care bingo using those fun stickers from our evergreen sticker pack. Um, Maybe you're keeping a list of songs that you're going to listen to this week. Maybe you throw just a big happy sticker there, like the one you see on the bottom right, as that good reminder. Perhaps one of your habits and activities is unplug, and then you can do what this person did in the upper middle, and they've actually got ways that they're going to unplug. So, really carrying that habit forth. So, is there a habit that you could break down by putting that in your mind body health plan? Perhaps you embrace the 7 types of rest, maybe focusing in on one for the whole week or one a day. There's some ideas. Again, I'll go back through all of these. There's that little shopping list space, fun grid. I always put a bingo here. I love that. I was working on routines though for a couple of weeks, and so that good night routine over in the bottom left is something that I did. Perhaps you're doing a check-in with yourself, like the upper left. How do I feel and what do I need? And that could be a start of the day space or an end of the day reflection. Again, lots of different ways to set these up or to put these in any of the other spaces that are on this page. And, there's a fun way. I always do a birthday week bingo here when it's my birthday, is coming up in July. And that's just a fun way. So if you have a birthday or you're celebrating someone in your life, perhaps you do that just to celebrate, or you really lean into the financial aspect of your life here, like you can see those slides on this screen. And then finally, that I am loving space. What are you loving right now at this very moment? Fill that in. It's a really good reflection on where you are in life. I'm going to put on some music and go back and forth between these slides while you work on this page. If you have any suggestions or questions, drop them in the chat. Let's work on this together, and I'll be back to check in and close it down in just a few moments. All right. I know that our time together goes so quickly. Reminder that these socials are always recorded. There's like almost 750 setup socials that you can or socials in all, and a lot of them are weekly setup socials. So if you ever want to go back and take a look at maybe something you missed or other examples from other socials, because we do try to change these up every now and then, you can do that by going to our YouTube channel. And Malika's going to share all of those links. So be sure you grab that. And if it's not already a saved bookmarked link, do that. Save that on your favorites bar so that you can access Sonder socials from the past. And Taylor's hollering, she said, see on Friday, Jen. Yes, we are coloring on Friday. If you have not been to a coloring social, come join us. You can bring your own page or you can work on the page in your journal, but it is a time of decompression. We're going to have it on Friday night, which I love when they fall on Fridays because it really gives us that reset from the week as we embrace the weekend. We do ask, share your weekly planner if you don't mind. If you've done something kind of neat that we could grab a shot of and share at our setups with one another. We'd love when you guys share. All of these examples you saw today were from fellow Silk and Sonder users. There are those QR codes that are super important. Malika is also dropping links in. You're going to get a follow-up email. You can refer a friend and you get bonuses for that, upgrade to an annual subscription. And I always like to say, if you're not annual, but you can do it, then you free up some funds for those fabulous stickers. And that's a lot of fun. Or the new Elevate journal, which is now out, which was just a passion project for Meha. So excited for that. And then finally, there is my playlist. I'll also share the playlist in our chat box here, so that if you want to go grab that Snoop Dogg song, if you're on Spotify, you can do that. That's my new favorite. You're probably going to see a lot of that Snoop Dogg affirmation song. Thank you so much for starting the week with Malika and I. We just really enjoyed hanging out with you. It's going to be a good one. We're going to thrive. And I hope to see y'all Friday as we sit in color or maybe work on another project that kind of helps you find your flow, while we have some great music and we're just hanging with one another. Love you, Sonder community. I'll see you Friday.
If this life is one act, why do we lay all these traps? We put them right in our path when we just wanna be free. I will not waste my days making